Recently, AP Now and I celebrated our 20-year anniversary. That's 20 years of covering accounts payable, accounting, payment, and job interview issues. Kind of a state of the union, if you will. Here's a look at the state of accounts payable today, or 20 lessons learned. Number one, accounts payable is much harder than it looks on the outside. You need to pay close attention to details, for one tiny slip can mean millions of dollars out the door. You need to be an analytics pro, keep up with technology, regulatory changes, and new frauds while employing diplomatic skills even an ambassador would envy. Number two, management teams appreciate their accounts payable staffs a lot more today than they did when I first started covering accounts payable almost 30 years ago, but not as much as they should. Number three, while most organizations would like to think they use all best practices, no one uses all of them. On a good day, a group might use 50 to 60% of them, and that's a good group. So, like never eating sugar or never cursing, using 100% of best practices is a lofty goal that's achievable by virtually no one. To be fair, many use almost best practices and avoid worst practices, but not 100% best practice, or at least no one I've yet to see. So stop beating yourself up about it. Number four, in recent years, the accounts payable team has become the primary target for criminals trying to defraud an organization. This means the staff must do extra verifications of many transactions to ensure that they are legitimate. Number five, titles in accounts payable are also starting to change. And by this I mean we are seeing higher level titles that truly reflect the work being done by these individuals. While we still see the title of accounts payable clerk for entry-level positions, it is far less common than it used to be. You are just as likely to see accounts payable associate, accounts payable or invoice processor, or an accounting assistant. On the higher end, we have more directors of accounts payable and accounts payable best practice and accounts payable vice presidents than we did in the past, the latter being more prevalent in banks than anyplace else. Number six, to my great surprise, a few unscrupulous suppliers will go out of their way to try and trick their customers, that's you, into paying them more than once and for items they shouldn't, like freight, etc. Yes, honest mistakes do happen, and they happen all the time. But some of these so-called honest mistakes are anything but that. Number seven, advances in technology that rely on email has meant great strides have been made towards a paper-free accounts payable function. But, and this is a big one, while eliminating paper has been great, there are new problems created. When it comes to the accounts payable function, I am specifically talking about that new nightmare of duplicate copies of the same invoice being sent, sometimes to different people. This has created extra work as the accounts payable team needs to weed out and try not to pay those duplicates. This requires time and effort, and I've yet to hear of an organization that has hired additional staff to deal with this or any of the other new problems I'm discussing today. Number eight, remote work has become a hot button issue in accounts payable as elsewhere in the organization. When COVID hit and the accounts payable teams were able to take the function home, many realized that they loved working remotely some or all of the time. This has become a sticking point for some when management demands that they return to the office 100% of the time. Probably the most common email request I receive is from hardworking professionals who are looking for remote opportunities. Number nine, to meet the changing business environment, best practices must change. They need to adapt to meet current business practices, new technology, new regulatory requirements, and sadly, new fraud protections that are required. Number 10, continued learning is more crucial today than ever before. As the business environment evolves, the skills required to be successful are also changing. For example, a recent survey by LinkedIn and Microsoft showed that 71% of executives said they would hire someone with AI skills over someone with more experience without those skills. 5 years ago, AI skills weren't even on the table outside of those in technology. Number 11, in the US, companies are finally making significant progress in the area of eliminating paper checks. Make no mistake about it, we still have far too many paper checks in the US, but significant progress has been made. Today, less than 40% of all B2B payments are made with paper, so we still have a long way to go, but we seem to be picking up steam. Number 12, the accounts payable team, in addition to handling invoices, gets saddled with a number of other less than desirable tasks. Why? That's a really good question for which I don't have a great answer. The two primary ones are the issuance of 1099s, which is a tax document if you don't know, and employee expense reimbursements for travel. I should point out that these are not handled in accounts payable in all organizations, just most. Now, the tax department will probably tell you that accounts payable does the 1099s because they make payment. But if that is a rational explanation, why aren't they doing all the tax returns? And payroll will tell you that some expense reimbursements go to non-employees, so they shouldn't do them. While there is a shred of truth in these explanations, that's all it is, a shred. My personal belief is both these tasks are losing propositions for whoever handles them, and accounts payable has become the dumping ground. If you disagree, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. 13, without a doubt, accounts payable departments are smaller today than they were years ago. This is primarily due to advances made in technology and specifically automation. But of course, this is going to create some other issues. 14, smaller accounts payable departments, as we alluded to today, make it more difficult for these organizations to have appropriate separation of duties across the entire accounts payable, or more importantly, entire procure-to-pay process. While this used to be a small company issue, it is fast becoming an issue for many mid-sized organizations. 15, advances in automation, specifically designed for either invoice processing or the accounts payable function, has meant that outsourcing does not provide the same cost benefits that it did in the past. Hence, it is expected that there will be less outsourcing of the accounts payable function in the future. This will likely be true, by the way, of other back office functions. 16, happily, it is rare that you hear of accounts payable referred to as the black hole anymore. For those who haven't heard that, it was a nasty remark made by some suppliers who claimed that once they sent an invoice to accounts payable, it was never seen or heard from again. Automation and best practices has put that old chestnut to bed, hopefully for good. 17, not only is accounts payable not the black hole, in most organizations, it no longer operates as its own little island apart from everyone else. It is fully integrated into the accounting and finance function, providing reports where needed and offering inputs to changes in processes needed to make the whole organization more efficient. 18, like every other business function, technology has made the process easier and harder. Sadly, it also helps criminals as well as magnifying weak or poor practices, like the sending of multiple copies of the same invoice, which we've already discussed. 19, those who stuck their head in the sand maintaining that technology or automation would never be able to do what they did paid the price. And of course, this is not only true in accounts payable, it's true in other functions as well. 20, you know that old saying about those who don't learn from history are bound to repeat it? I believe we are on the precipice of another revolution. This time, the change is coming from AI. It saddens me to see quite a few people repeating the mistake of the past, thinking, not my job, it could never take my job. To help our community avoid repeating that mistake again, we've put together a playlist of short videos to help you take on that AI giant and win. Watch it right now using the link that has appeared on your YouTube screen and is in the description. Good luck.